You've been talking about, you're talking right now about your manifesto, and you talked about salaries. You talked about how they've not been paid to local government workers, to teachers, to civil servants for several months now.
Yes.
You're also aware that quite a number of states are running, when I say close to bankrupt in the country. You're aware of the dwindling resources of the federal government owing to what is happening to the price of crude. How do you intend to raise the IGL of Abia?
How do I intend to?
Raise the internally generated revenue to ensure that it is self-sustaining and ensure that it is viable as a state.
Well, that is where people like us come in, because we are not going to be relying on the monthly federal allocation. Like you rightly said, oil prices have gone down from an all-time high of about $120 per barrel to where they are today at about $55 to $56 per barrel. So automatically, what is available for sharing has gone down by half. So that is where people with creative mind, people with skills, people with the pedigree, people that have performed in the past, come in and performed in areas that are verifiable. I think it was Henry Ford that said that you don't build a reputation on the basis of what you are going to do, but on the basis of what you've done in the past. Internally generated revenue is something that you can create by investing. You don't give what you don't have. So if you invest in Abia, for instance, people will be more than happy to pay you. But if you keep taxing people, somebody says that the IGR for Abia State is about $500 million and is going to be raising $1 billion.
$500 million?
500 million naira, sorry, excuse me, 500 million naira, and it's going to be multiplying that by 2 under his administration. And the question is how? And we don't get the answer. Now the point is, if you fix the roads, if you fix the markets, if you fix the drainage system, if you decongest the place, if you fix power, and by the way, I had already started, I watched a program where...
what is this?
Yeah, that is Abia. That is Abia for you. These are the things that we are dealing with. So if you fix all the stuff that you need to fix, what do you get? People will be more than happy. Look at people living in filthy situations like this. So if you clean this up, I'm sure, very, very sure that you will be able to go back to them and they'll be more than happy to pay you. Well, I live in Lagos and I know how much I pay, but I'm still grateful because the roads are paved, there are no problems around here.
And speaking about revenue, I mean, you will need revenue to develop the states and clean up, as you say you plan to do. But I've got this question from Stan, who says, Dr. Alex, no doubt you have reasonable plans for Abians, but will you double tax? Or will you raise the tax?
I will not. You see, why do people double tax? Because they are bereft of ideas. You know what to do. There are all sorts of, as I live here, I'll be going to Abia, because there's a program I have with the IFC, Light Up Africa. I'm talking about Light Up Africa. When I was in Diamond Bank, I came in to join a bank that had started financing a 141 megawatt power station, integrated power station in Abia, the Professor Barton Naji power station in Abia. But unfortunately, owing to the global economic recession, the bank had stopped funding the project for about a year and 6 months. And I said, no, we needed to complete the project. It's almost completed. I know that my opponent spoke about it, but he didn't give credit to whom credit is due. We spent close to, a total of $500 million. And once that plant is commissioned by the president, is ready for commissioning, Abia and its environs will have 24-hour supply of power. Abia has been carved out as an island, so the moment geometric switch is on, PSCN switches off. And that would ignite most of the businesses in Abia. Abia, I did a study and I found that there are over 50,000 shoemakers today, most of them doing absolutely nothing. Why? Because it's been made uncompetitive for them to produce. They pay for everything, the light is not there, so they have to go and buy generators, buy diesel, and what I call the spirit of diesel that makes people steal. Even if you put a pastor in charge of diesel, sometimes diesel just develop wings, even if he doesn't steal.
What was the reason that has made them, withdrawn from being an enterprise?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The place has become uncompetitive. So they produce shoes that are not as good as the imported ones from China. And their cost of production is so high that they cannot sell in the market. That's what is simple economics. So the cost of production and the selling price. So they are crowded out by the imported shoes that are of better quality, but they are cheaper. So wittingly or unwittingly, we are outsourcing jobs.
Isn't that a national problem?
Well, not necessarily a national problem. The roads in Abia, what you've seen on the screen, is not a national problem. Yes, I know that some elder statesman, Atoeze, went to Umuahia sometime last year and screamed that Abia State is the dirtiest state in Nigeria. Of course, the government responded by saying that, it's the dirtiest state and then the roads are in terrible shape. The government responded by saying that he was talking about federal roads, but the truth is that the roads that you see in Abia are not federal roads. And it is so sad. But I believe that I have the magic wand. I know what to do. Beyond raising internally generated revenue, I also do know where to get grants and aids. And I had tried to support the government in the past. Sometimes, like I said, you don't give what you don't have. If you have not organized yourself in such a way that those aids and grants will flow to you, they flow to those states who have organized themselves, who have been rated by any of the rating agencies, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and others. So I'm not going to double tax, answering that question directly.
Okay, I see some also asking, maybe they might have missed it, if you could tell them when is the estimated plan for that power plant to switch on, while you also talk about your plans for unemployment.
Yes, great. The plant is virtually ready. I believe that before May 29, that the president should, it was supposed to have been commissioned before now, but then there were some legal issues between Geometric and I believe Eastern Electric in Enugu over the ceding of Abia as an island. So, and I know that discussions are ongoing to resolve that. Once it's resolved, I believe that the president will come to commission the project, so it's ready. Now, plans about unemployment. Statistics have it that Abia State has over 40% unemployment rate. In fact, I was reading something last week that says that it's up to 63%. So, but let me take the lower number of 40%. So it means that absolute numbers, you'll be talking about 1.2 to 1.5 million people that are unemployed. My opponent did talk about creating 50,000 jobs in 4 years, and I thought that was a big joke, because if you have 1.5 million people that are unemployed and in 4 years you create 50,000 jobs, that's 12,500 jobs per year. That means that the government must be asleep. People do not really need government jobs back home in Abia State. No, they just need you to create the enabling environment and their businesses will thrive. If you look at the numbers, you will find that in terms of the employment that exists today, over 21% of people that are employed are into distributive and retail trade. Another 19% are into agriculture.